your backstory. The people that don't know where you came from and all that you had to get through to become the person you are today.
Sorry.
Would you share a little bit about your background and how you got to this place?
Are you sure? You want
Yes.
me to do that?
Yes.
Hello again. Many of us know each other, but many of us don't. So yes, I'd love to share a little bit of that history. I'm somebody who came into this business full-time already at the age of 19 years old. I was not a very good student, but I'm somebody who grew up in real estate offices like yours. Many of you know my father, who's one of the founders of Remax in Europe. He was a real estate broker and worked as an agent before that, as all of you do. And it was a very interesting upbringing because my sister, who's now our CEO of our North American businesses, when she was 14 years old, she would be answering the telephone at Polzler Real Estate. And I was a child playing on the floor. And I literally spent my life in real estate offices. And not being a great student, after trying for 5 years to finish a 4-year program in high school. Trying. My father said, "You come with me, I'll teach you how to work." And that's how I started. And I started out really in franchise sales, not in real estate sales, but on the phones, cold calling, making the calls that so many people didn't want to make, and prospecting. I worked with scripts, I worked with dialogues. I was not very good at it in the beginning, but it's incredible how good you can become at it once you learn what to say and you make the calls.
So you mean you were not a natural-born salesperson?
No, I was probably a natural-born salesperson, but it's amazing what some skills do to, and I know what you mean. The skills that come along with that, there's no question. If you're going to be making the calls, prospecting, speaking to somebody one-on-one, or calling them on the telephone, you really do. You have to know what to say. You have to understand what it is that you're selling.
So you built this incredible career really with hard work, with tenacity, with commitment, with focus. And you've experienced big highs and big lows and many successes and many upsets. What is your most important advice for all of us who just need to stay the course?
Ooh, okay. Best advice I could give is, first of all, learn what it is you need to do. What do you need to do in a day? If you're a real estate salesperson, you need to spend a certain amount of your day prospecting, looking for new business. And do you know how to do that? Do you know what to say to somebody when you speak to them? Not just saying, "Hey, do you want to sell your house?" That doesn't work very well. Do you own your own home currently? Have you ever thought about buying a home? Oh, you're a renter. Do you understand what it would take to buy a house? Finding out if people qualify. So first of all, learning those skills to answer your question, and making sure you put the time aside to do that, and working the basic fundamentals in the business, because I believe that's why most people in sales lose their way, because they stop working the basics of what it takes. If you're a broker, franchisee, it might mean recruiting, speaking to people about a career in real estate, and often focusing on the basics. Because when you get back to the basics, that's where you'll find level ground again to press forward. Because this can be a discouraging business at times.
Yes.
How many people will say no to you before one says yes? And that's just trying to get a listing appointment. That's not even necessarily trying to get a sale. And having the strength to continuously do that, even when things aren't looking so good.
Tell them about the routines that you have in place that keep you mentally strong or in that place of zen, which we talk about.
Yeah.
This is real estate stressful?
Yes. Yes.
Did you all drink at lunch?
Were they drinking wine at lunch?
I think they were drinking wine at lunch. Real estate is stressful, yes? Yes. Tell them whether he will say it publicly the way I would acknowledge him, stays very calm when things are chaotic. That is something that I know he has worked at for years. Share with them some of the things that you do to stay calm when things get crazy.
He's asking a lot of personal questions. No, I'd like to share that.
Yeah.
I'm somebody who really believes in rehearsing your day. At the beginning of every day, I think about myself, I think about my health and things that are happening in my life. But that very quickly shifts to what I have to accomplish that day, which is often business related. And I'm somebody, and I've done this for many, many years, is I rehearse my day in my mind. What conversations do I know I have to have? Am I going to be in a sales presentation? Am I going to be in a whatever type of meeting? I think about what I have to say before I say it. And when I get to that point in the day, I've already gone through these things in my mind. And this isn't about setting a schedule, and it's not about setting time management. That's different. You need to do that also. But practicing and visualizing the outcomes that you want to see is very, very important. And I can promise you that any top sports star, many top business people, they all talk about visualizing the outcome.
Yeah. How many of you like football? Soccer, football? Yes. I think way more. Do you think that the best players visualize the result that they want, or do they leave it to chance? All the best players visualize what they want, and the skill that he has mastered, that he and I would love for all of you, is to visualize your day before it happens. See yourself making the call. See yourself getting the appointment. Imagine in your mind calling 10 for sale by owners and 2 saying yes, and then 1 signing the contract, and then visualizing every day selling a home. And it may sound strange for some of us. I know the first time I heard it, it was very strange until I started to do it. This morning, laying in bed in this hotel, seeing this whole day unfold, seeing familiar faces, meeting new people, taking selfies, having fun, having people like Iana walk up and say, "Look, I did it," right? "Look at this great marketing piece." I see all that stuff before it happens. What do most people think about? What do you think?
Before that.
Yeah, before it happens. How do you think most people start their day?
They hope it's going to happen.
I think it's even worse. I think they actually think about all the things that aren't going to happen. We think about the rejection. We think about, oh my goodness, I hope that person doesn't list with someone else. We actually plant seeds of doubt.
Never think about what could go wrong. because it very rarely does happen.
Yes.
And it,
Yeah.
and add that, and never worry about things. If you're going to overthink things, overthink them in a problem-solving way of how to get the outcome you want. Don't sit and think about what could go wrong. You talk about sports. Let's say Lionel Messi. How many times a day do you think he sees the ball going into the back of the net in his mind? I don't know, but it's a lot. Would you agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So when he actually has the chance to put the ball in the back of the net, do you think he's ready? I think yes, because he sees it before it happens.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Share with your neighbor. Share with your neighbor. What have you heard